Let me know when it's up for you. Check, 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 check. Check, 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 check. It just popped up on my phone. Yeah. Check, check, check. Check, 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 check. Checkity, check, 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 check. All right, man.
Good. All right. Should I tell my kids to shut up? Hey boys, we're going in for the pod, okay? All right, love you. Can you reach that copy okay, or you don't really go off that much?
Yeah, I'll be fine.
Let me get the fucking head going here. Get my goddamn chew in that you love.
Hey, everybody. I'm watching on YouTube.
I'll put this on afterwards.
Just got our sound check done. Let us know how we sound. And if you are wondering, yes, this is a Mike's Hard Lemonade. I didn't know these things still existed.
Thank God they do.
Right. No one's in there now. Fucking assholes. So it dropped out now. It was probably just me and you, honestly.
Should I go up here?
I dig it, dude. It's fucking perfect.
Are we live now?
Yeah, yeah. Ain't nobody here yet, so. It's late. I'm sure people will hop in.
You ready?
So is this, isn't this some character off of a video game or something?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. That's great.
You ready to roll?
Dude, you look fucking splendid.
Welcome to the RawDawgers Sportscast Live. I am Connor Stallions. Well, no. I'm Sean Watson.
I'm Ron Burgundy.
Welcome to a special Halloween edition of the RawDawgers Sportscast. As you can see,
As you may not be able to see.
and I can't see too well out of this. I feel like I need to get closer to that 50-yard line area. Maybe row AA, section 1.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that area.
Strictly cash payments as well.
So we're going to get into a lot of things tonight. This special Halloween edition, like I said. This is actually a prop that my oldest son wore as his Halloween costume called Cameraman. How fitting it is.
How fitting it is.
And if you can see my shirt here, the Go Blow.
Hashtag Michigan sucks.
Hashtag Michigan sucks.
And I am Bobby Boucher. Mama said that I could be here tonight.
Can I ask you something, Bobby? Why would Connor be here trying to film the SCLSU Mud Dogs?
Why? I think you know, you snap the football, goes to the quarterback, and I try to tackle him. Other than that, I do not know.
Could it possibly be because they want to find out who they're going to lose to in their next bowl game?
Yep. Yes. They're gonna lose to the Bourbon Bowl to LSU Mud Dogs.
I mean, how much would tickets to the Bourbon Bowl even cost? Could somebody afford it on a $55,000 a year salary?
Is that how much he made?
Yeah.
I thought it's when you sent me that I thought it said 150.
No, well, I was a 3-year total.
Oh, okay.
So it was right around that. So I'm just doing some estimates. But all right, I'm gonna get into my other bit of a get up here. To all you Central Michigan Chippewa fans out there. We got another look.
Beautiful CMU hat there.
Absolutely. Get this on. Video's rolling. Put him in, coach.
He's ready to play today.
All right, so we have a very, very special Halloween edition. I know we're after Halloween here, but it's all good. It's all good.
In the hood.
We're going to get into some of this Connor Stallions situation, whatever you want to call it. Breaking news just a couple hours back.
Got fired.
Yeah, finally, Connor Stallions let go from the University of Michigan after being suspended with pay for the better part of a week and a half.
Yeah. He's probably going to have to wait till old Harbaugh goes to the NFL to get another job.
Right. So kind of trying to break that down. So at least he probably made around $1,500 over the last week and a half or something with the $55,000 annual salary, right?
Right.
Somewhere along there before taxes. So anyway, we're going to get into that and a whole lot more. First thing I kind of want to start off with, though, this week is breaking news just today. Deshaun Watson finally coming back, 1 o'clock Eastern time in Cleveland, Sunday, November 5th, taking on the 1-7 Josh Dobbs Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah, is it Tune that's starting for them?
Yeah. Clayton Tune from the University of Houston.
Yeah.
The University of Houston, who's they are having their own issues right now. Apparently, the NFL is trying to put some kind of copyright on their uniforms.
Yeah.
Of all the fucking things to do.
Right. And the most beautiful uniforms too. It's like it pisses me off that Tennessee just let Houston be the fucking Oilers.
Right.
Like, the Texans, it's generic, it's weird.
But the fact that the NFL has to get their fucking claws into this,
right,
is
it's
like, come on.
Whoever the owner, who is the owner for the Titans? It's the name is slipping my mind, but they have something against that Houston horribly for not building them a stadium, I guess.
Yeah. So we're going to be facing a rookie quarterback this week. Don't know much about it. We do know this. So the opening line for the game today on ESPN was, before the Watson announcement that he was going to start, was Browns favored by 7. That line is now moved up to 10. Is that correct, Ryan?
Yeah, most sports books. Some of them are 9.5, but most of them are 10.
So, unlike kind of, I think what we saw with the Indy game, this should be a pretty good measurement here. Watson now with the full 6 weeks recovery time on the rotator cuff injury, micro tears in the rotator cuff, and or whatnot. Vegas knows. So to go from a 7-point to a 10-point, that's pretty significant. It's not like they're jumping a point or a half a point. And, whether it was going to be PJ Mass Walker or they're going to send DTR back out there, it generally has to give you a pretty good feeling that Vegas is giving the Browns or favoring them by 3 more points right now.
Yeah, and there's some videos out on Twitter from some of the beat reporters for the Browns that you can see his throwing motion it looked normal to me.
Right.
And when you could kind of tell even leading up to that Indy game, he had zip on the ball, but you could tell he was pushing it.
Right.
You know, he wasn't falling through and all that good stuff. And it looks like he's got full range of motion back.
Well, even that.
He's not going to be 100%, but he's going to be as close as he can be this year.
Right. And even that first snap, that first pass to Ford in that Indy game, I mean, you could just tell that it didn't look good. It was probably not more than a 5-yard pass, hit behind him, you know, on the turf.
And it, you know, even just missing a throw is one thing, but you could just tell with the throwing motion something was off.
Right.
You know, he's going to miss throws. It's just, you know.
Right.
This is a good game for him to come back.
I agree.
They do have a decent pass rush there. I think they have like 24 sacks in the season or something like that.
Yeah, it could be. I'd have to look that up. Actually, I got my stat sheet here, compliments of
Nice.
Pro Football Database.
Nice.
If anybody wants to check that out, I highly recommend Pro Football Database. They have like all the offensive, defensive ranks up to date in real time. So we're going to get into that a little bit. Not really sure on the sack number, but I have a lot of the offensive and defensive numbers, ranks, etc. for the Cardinals right now. I got to take these glasses off. I know I'm trying to be Mr. Stallions here, but I mean I can't see the soup line. Poor bastard. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm going to want to kind of start off here and recap the Browns at Seahawks. I feel like my initial feeling is this is another one I think that got away from us. It got away from us. You know, Seahawks coming out of the gate, scored 14 quick, 2 touchdowns.
It looked like it was going to be over fast.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like we were going to get nuked.
Right.
And I kind of had this one circled a few weeks ago. I mentioned it to you that I thought this might be kind of a tough spot for the Browns 2 weeks in a row, being on the road. Seattle, always a very, very tough place to play. I don't even know what the hell they call it now. You know, I can't remember what it's called now. But anyway, it's definitely, excuse me, it's definitely not the house that Russell cooks in. You know that for sure. So
I'll give Russ this. He's playing a little bit better this
he
year.
is. He did play better last week. Anyway, Seahawks, like I said, hung 14 on us. One of those touchdowns came on a PJ Mass Walker strip sack.
Right.
Put them in like on the 40, 43-yard line. So that was all in the first quarter.
Yeah.
So we kind of settled in defensively, started to give our offense a chance to go to work. After the first quarter, really kind of took over, held Seattle only to a field goal until another turnover late in the fourth quarter, which we're going to get into that. Led to another touchdown to kind of seal the game for Seattle. So getting into that, you know, all the Browns chats, you know, whether it be on social media, whatever, generally you're kind of on different sides of this. You and I were talking about it during the game. I think Stefanski really did. I think he had a pretty good game as far as like what he called on that.
Did all the screens work to perfection?
Yep, the screens. You know, we had a three-headed monster there in the absence of Nick Chubb.
I love Pierre Strong.
Yeah, Pierre Strong looked fantastic. He had that one screen pass that he broke for like over 40 or something like that. So, overall, Browns had over 150 rush yards. With that in mind, so P.J. Walker with a critical 3rd and 3 play with 2:04 left in the game. Didn't look this up. Not sure if Seattle had all their timeouts. They probably at least had 2. Did they have all 3 at that point? So they had the 2-minute warning.
Well, I think they had 2.
That's what I was wondering. I was thinking it was 2.
Did they use one early in the
Yes, I think they had to do something there that was kind of weird.
Gino took a timeout at some point or something.
Yeah, so, but at this point, the Browns had the lead. They had the lead 20-17. It was a 3rd down situation. This is where maybe I'm kind of tailing off on the Stefanski here, you know, and I'm not getting down on him completely, but should he have ran on that play? Because here's what happened. Adams comes in, safety, throws the ball, hits him in the helmet, gets intercepted. Now, there's 2 strains of, before you answer, there's 2 different thoughts on this. Was Stefanski was trying to convert, get the first down, then you would have had you would have had the 2-minute warning. Okay. Seattle would have had to start burning their timeouts, whether it be 2 left.
Mm-hmm.
And essentially, if the Browns did there, they might have left, even after the punt at that time, probably left Seattle with less than 30 seconds left on the clock, even if they get the ball back. Length of the field. The other train of thought is, why didn't you just run? Because if you ran, you didn't convert, goes down the 2-minute warning. Our defense was holding since the first quarter, basically. They gave up a field goal in the second quarter. And make Seattle go basically the length of the field after a Borquez punt and try to go ahead and beat us. Or at least tie it, because we were ahead by 3 at that point. So what's your thoughts on that?
Well, it's always 2020 looking back. But, yeah, I mean, I get why people were frustrated. What I'll also say is it kind of looked to me like he checked out of a run play.
Really?
Because you seen that they were coming up to the line of scrimmage.
Okay.
But what he did do was throw it to the side of the field where he shouldn't have thrown, because you had 3 guys open on the other side of the field. Right. So, and this comes with having...
I can't remember. I should have went ahead and brought that play up. Was
Cooper.
It Trips on the one side, weak side, single, or was it Njoku on the right side?
It was one Coop, Njoku, and then you had Moore and DPJ on the other side, I believe.
Okay. And was he in a pistol formation there?
No, it was just a regular gun formation.
Okay.
I think
right.
running
go
back
ahead,
was on
though.
the right side.
Go ahead. But I haven't heard this, but go ahead.
And I don't know that for a fact. But, yeah, I mean, if you run the ball, you don't get it. If anything, it'd be 4th and 1. If you wanted to try to run it again, you could do it there. But, even if he didn't check out of a run play and it was called a pass, it was slants. They showed the blitz. He had 2 options on the left side of the field, and the running back was wide fucking open too. What Walker, and the thing was that people forget, is Walker was playing pretty exceptional after this first quarter.
Right.
Up until that point, I mean,
he had still had 3 turnovers, which he's about fucking averaging for his start
his whole career.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true.
And yeah, I mean, that is literally the worst thing that could have happened on that play.
Yeah.
And even if that ball gets past
Adams,
it's not getting picked.
Yeah.
That might have converted anyway, because Coop did have the inside leverage on that route. So, I mean, people keep bitching about Stefanski's play calling. And I'm like, dude, the only reason we're in that fucking game was because of Stefanski's play calling.
Right.
Like, he's working with trash at the quarterback position.
I mean, I am saying that we're in that game because of our defense. Really, because of our defense. You can't turn the ball over. But you can't continuously keep turning the ball over for 3 fucking times a game.
Well, you're down to your a quarterback that wasn't even in here during camp.
Correct. So,
to be in a game against Seattle, who is a top 5 defense in the league, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
To be in that game, even with all those turnovers, it's the team's fighting. Like, it'd be one thing if you could just tell this team didn't give a fuck. They obviously, there's a lot of belief in the coaching staff. Like, what do people want? If you look at any other game, any other team's fan base, they want to fire the coach.
Right.
Doesn't matter if they're 7-1 or fucking 1-7.
Right.
It's like you're gonna be pissed off about different things that happen, but to call that like such a bad play call that nobody would make, like, yeah, let's convert. The clock's gonna stop either way if you run it or pass it.
Right.
Because it's 2:04, they're gonna get the 2-minute warning. So, and they brought a run blitz. So you had open spots in the field to convert. They just didn't convert. And I get the whole thing about not trusting PJ Walker, but like, dude, you're in the NFL.
Right.
Make the fucking play.
Make the play, and it's not like we're asking you to throw one down the seam on a fucking seam route.
Right.
All you got to do is get it past the sticks.
Right, and you have the lead.
Convert. And Walker knew it. You saw him coming over there.
Well, and he missed Elijah Moore for a touchdown in this game. He missed. There's so many points left on the board. And that's why people bitch about play calling. I'm like, dude, why don't we see this thing like in the Tennessee game when everything was clicking? We didn't even have a running game, and we were hitting short throws, we're hitting bombs, we're like, the offense is fine. It's the guy under center that Watson needs to come back, get his shit together before we play Baltimore, and this is the game to do that. So
fingers crossed.
We're 4-3. People are acting like we're fucking 2-6.
Now, of course, what's happening right now though is the AFC North may be, not yet, I don't want to jump the gun, but it may be the toughest division in football. There's a possibility, probably not, but there's a possibility that
every team gets in.
Every team, well, there's a possibility that nobody's below 500.
Yeah.
Nobody's below 500. And then it might come down to a tiebreaker in that division to see who wins the division.
Well, yeah, and like
and we're behind the sticks on that too.
If we win, well, we still control our own destiny.
We can.
You win this week, you're going to be 5-3 going into Baltimore. Hopefully,
Right.
Seattle beats Baltimore. And
Hopefully.
at that point, you're same record.
Correct.
Well, I think they'd be 6-3.
Baltimore 6-2 right now.
So you're basically, if you win that game, you split. You're now going to be what, 2-2 in the division. You have Pittsburgh right after that. You could be 3-2 in the division. Like, I don't think anybody in this division is going to go 5-1. Pittsburgh already beat Baltimore, didn't they?
Yes.
So
that was that broken play down the sideline. Lamar Trash Jackson, doing his fucking bullshit.
right. And that that's for us to win the division. If you win this week, you go to Baltimore, you lose, you can still, there's plenty of a path to the playoffs.
Yeah, but I still, you and I have always talked about this. We want to win the division.
Yeah.
We want to get that home game.
Get that
we
monkey
want to
off
get
our
it
back.
correct. And you want to get that home game. You want to make the opposing team come in, whether it be that wild card
defense
team.
plays so much better at home than it does on the road.
I mean, even if we finish, as the worst division winner, and I'm not saying we are going to, right now I think the Dolphins are 6-2, Kansas City 6-2, Baltimore 6-2, and then who else am I missing there? The South, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Jacksonville 6-2.
Yeah, it'd be a long road, but the thing is, after these three, all right, if you beat Arizona and you take care of your divisional games, the slate after that's pretty damn easy.
Right.
You have the Jets, you have the Broncos, you have a lot of winnable games.
Yeah.
And I if you can get through this stretch here, win these next 3 games, you have your destiny right in front of you.
Right.
And you could probably drop one and still be top 3 seed.
Right. But to me, you're not losing the.
You can't.
You cannot lose this game.
No. Well,
you can't lose this game. You can technically,
yeah.
but you should not lose.
Well,
this
and
game.
I don't think they're going to have Deshaun go out there and rip it 40 times.
Hopefully, we're going to see a lot of Deshaun Watson, Tennessee, that kind of play calls. And I was all in with you, and I'm still in with you. I loved all the Stefanski calls. Didn't know that might have been a check out of a run. Didn't know that. If he is, I'm about to take the guillotine to fucking PJ Walker for even audible.
Well, and
I
think that's why Stefanski was so fucking pissed, but he's not going to throw him under the bus.
He's not. Okay, I'm going to give you that, which I wasn't aware of that.
That's like, people get so pissed on these Facebook pages and stuff. I'm like, dude, do you guys
I agree.
have any understanding of how football is played at that level?
Mm-hmm.
Every time there's a play called, there's a check out of that play call.
Right.
If they're in a certain thing, if they show blitz, if you see something that you
and you're saying they were showing a run blitz.
That's what it looked like to me. That's why you're sending Jamal Adams. He's one of the better run blitzers in the game.
Right.
I mean, in general.
I will give you this, though. PJ Walker, if he did check out of that play, okay, and so let's just say that
he was right to do so. He just went to the wrong side of the field.
Right. So let's say that he did check out of that play. PJ Walker generally had a pretty good game rushing the ball.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, and another thing, too, is it's not necessarily that he looked at the wrong side, because what you want to do when you see someone blitz, it's vacating a zone or vacating a man responsibility. So going that way probably wasn't there was just so much wide open on the other side. Because I think they were playing some sort of man zone or man blitz or zone blitz, I'm sorry. So they had so many options on the other side of the field. It's just
right.
Sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't.
Right. Kind of like Almond Joy, right?
Sometimes you feel like a nut.
Sometimes you don't. Unless you're drunk.
Right.
Then you feel like nutting all the time. All right. So the other exception I kind of take that I said Seattle takes over, after that terrible pick right there.
Yeah, and then the defense just let them walk right down the field.
And they did. And here's my thing, and I'm always kind of, the defense after the first quarter took care of business. Mm-hmm. The Browns had Seattle where they wanted them.
Yeah, the turnovers fucked us. It's
right.
It's been the story of the season.
Right. They had them where they wanted them. I almost feel like this was an absolute just kind of dream crusher on the defense here. I don't know if the hurry up that they were kind of they're running up tempo, but it seemed like our defense during that last push was like Swiss cheese. Of course, Jackson Smith.
Tyler Lockett was.
Yeah, no, I'm just talking about the last drive itself. I mean, Jackson Smith and Jigba, probably kind of a hold on DK Metcalf that wasn't called, but you know what? I'm letting that go because you shouldn't have even got to that position. You shouldn't have been there. Now, with that being said, there's somebody else that came out right after the game, and I'm sure you're aware of this. And Kareem Hunt, definitely not happy with the decision on that play. Quote, I didn't get a chance the whole fourth quarter. Come to find out, he didn't really get a chance in the Indy game in the fourth quarter either. Extending his frustration beyond just that drive.
I wasn't mad about that, though.
No?
I still think Pierre Strong had the best game out of you.
And he did. He had a fantastic game.
You know what I mean? I'd rather have him out on the field on that.
I have a bit of a problem, and I think it was on the Browns show that I was watching earlier today, but it came out a few days ago. I think Adam the Bull was on there, and he was talking about it. And who's the guy in the center that's on that show, that pod?
On today's pod, I think that was Mikey McNuggets.
Okay.
When there were three of them today?
Yeah, there's three. Well, I don't know if it was today or maybe a few days ago.
Like the younger blonde-haired dude?
No. This is the black guy with the dreads.
Oh, dreads. Oh, that's... Shit.
Yeah.
I don't know his name. I know who you're talking about.
Right. But anyway, so he defends Kareem Hunt coming out.
Oh, yeah, I had no problem with that.
Yeah?
I mean,
do you? Because I'm kind of on the Adam the Bull side here. I'm kind of like... Well, now, wait a minute.
Everybody's frustrated after a loss.
Yeah, I know, but my thing is this, and he made a great point. 2 months ago, you're on the street, man.
Right.
Now you're part of, a Nick Chubb-less offense.
Yeah,
in the same breath, Kareem Hunt talks about, I wasn't happy with how I was used with not in the fourth quarter, and especially on that third down conversion. But in the same breath, then he goes to say, hey, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make plays wherever and whenever the Cleveland Browns need me. It's one of the two. You can't have them both ways.
Yeah.
So if he's trying to cover his ass, of course, news came out today. I think Stefanski was talking about it too. He went to Kareem Hunt. They talked about it. Everything's smoothed out. But we can definitely see a world without Kareem Hunt after the season again.
Oh, yeah.
Because of dumb shit. To me, that's just dumb shit like that.
Yeah.
You can't start throwing the coaching staff under the bus.
Especially, dude, like,
you can't
this
do
team
it.
was just on a 2-game winning streak. Like, I get being frustrated and all that stuff. It's like, dude, you ain't going to win every goddamn game.
No.
And he had, 12 carries, a touchdown. I mean, with 2 other backs getting playing time, he had plenty of use. And
right.
For him not to be out there in the fourth quarter, I think they went with the hot hand, who was Pierre Strong.
Pierre Strong, correct.
So
correct. That's
just what's going to happen. I don't know.
And Pierre Strong really, he surprised me a lot because when bringing Pierre Strong in, of course Felton, was cut from the team. I thought that he kind of had that shape and that fit that was going to be more of that Felton type. I was really big. But I was impressed. But he's still more of that kind of scat back type, is what I was thinking. But what I wanted to say was, I think the Seattle game kind of proved me wrong.
Yeah,
I think he's more than that.
He looks. I mean, and I'm not gonna use hyperbole, but he kind of looks like Nick Chubb running the ball. He's a one cut. Find the hole, rip the hole. I don't know. But he also has good patience. But he's definitely not Nick Chubb, But I think he's very much suited for how we do our run game.
Okay.
And I think Kareem's great in short yardage situations. So, I mean, they kind of have that 1-2 punch. And I like Ford's ability to...
Which goes back to Kareem Hunt being pissed off that he wasn't called upon on that 3rd and 3.
Yeah.
I can see both sides of it, I guess is what I'm... I just think it's wrong on Kareem Hunt's it's wrong on him to come out immediately after the game, go into Trotter, and basically give him bulletin board material, throwing his coaching staff under the bus. I think it's bullshit.
Well, and that's that's not the first time Cream's done it.
Correct.
Which
great point, Ryan. Great point.
Nobody else wanted him. We gave him a shot here. He's getting plenty of workload. He's probably going to get more workload next week.
And he's 28 years old, and it's not like it's old for a back.
No,
I mean,
he doesn't really have that much use.
Correct, which is what you want,
right?
Because now, if you got 3 backs that were going to basically do what Nick Chubb was going to do, or at least last year,
they're first in the league in rushing right now.
Yeah. So, you know what we're 32nd in the league in?
Passing.
No. Fucking turnovers.
Yeah.
Turnovers, and you brought it up perfectly last week. Turnover differential. And we lost the differential again because we were making Geno look more like the Geno that I was used to before he signed that. Had a great year last year. Mm-hmm. Had a great year. I even said it against that 49ers in that playoff game. He looked great. But man, the Browns made him look pedestrian.
Well, they rattled him after that first quarter, but I think the Tyler Lockett effect kind of screwed us over.
Yeah.
But
I was texting you about this too. How the hell is Tyler Lockett still that guy?
He's got to be what, like 33?
Well, I think he might. Yeah, he's outside of 30
because he was there.
But I mean, I think he was drafted in, what was it, 2015? Was it 2014 maybe?
I thought it was like 12 or.
I think he's an 8-year veteran at least.
31.
31. Okay, so I think he's an 8-year veteran in the league.
Just turned 31. So
okay,
yeah.
But still.
Yeah, 2015. You're right.
I mean, DK Metcalf definitely wasn't worrying me in this game
at all.
And the guy was getting short passes. If anything, there wasn't anything he was ripping off the top. Jackson Smith and Jigba, love the guy. He went to play for the Buckeyes, but. He had that last score,
yeah,
but
they're not using him very much.
No, and they got this guy Bobo, who I think he was an undrafted free agent. That was his 3rd touchdown of the season. Any of you fantasy people out there, you want to get down inside the 20, you may want to go ahead and pick this guy up. But anyway, all right, moving on here a little bit here. Browns now 4-3. We talked about it. Coming home this Sunday to play the 1-7 Cardinals. After trading away former Browns backup and Cardinals starting fill-in Josh Dobbs earlier this week to the Vikings, it looks as if the Browns will be facing rookie QB Clayton Tune this Sunday out of the University of Houston. Like we talked about, Browns have a very, very favorable schedule coming up, starting with this game, including games with this one, the Broncos, the Bears, the Texans, and the Jets. Although Texans, I could say the Texans are a bit of a surprise this year, although they did just lose that game 2 weeks ago to the Falcons, and Desmond Ridder is absolute fucking garbage. So I'm going to tell you that right now. Right. They should rid Atlanta of Ridder.
Well, they're gonna play Heineke this week.
Yeah, everybody wants a Heineke.
Well, I think with that defense they have there in the running game, they're a decent team. Atlanta, they have plenty of talent on offense.
The defense
is really good.
The Atlanta defense is really good. Actually, it just sucks. They're almost kind of like in our kind of position. Although I think that they lack a little bit on the outer side, where, I mean, obviously Desmond Ridder, PJ Walker, that might be like a fucking toss up there. I'm not sure, but I think, they have a really good defense. Yeah. Heineke starting off, Atlanta leading that division now.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
I think they're the best team in that division.
Yeah, you think so? You think it's not the Saints? My money's still on the Saints, man.
Whatever reason, that doesn't seem like Derek Carr's fitting in down there.
Well, we're going to find out this week because the Saints, they play the Colts, or was that last week? No, they played the Colts last week. So the Saints, who do the Saints have this week?
Did I pick them this week?
I think they played the Colts last week. That's what it was.
Yeah, because the Colts play the Panthers.
Ugh. Fucking battle of the wills there. Jesus.
So they play.
You got fucking mini-me there against...
Did they play the Texans? No, they play the Vikings.
The Vikings.
Wait. No.
Oh,
They
no.
play the Bears. They should win that game.
Oh, yeah.
They should.
Is that at Chicago? Does it
No,
matter?
that's in New Orleans. So
Okay,
they should-
with
I just took money
with
line.
Nathan Battage,
Yeah.
Batnage. What's his name? Battage. I watched him against the Chargers last Sunday night, but God, that guy. I will give you this much. I think that guy, he's like Gardner Minshew on steroids. Doesn't run the ball like he does so much, but gives absolute zero fucks times two. I mean, he knows that he's on borrowed time.
Right.
I watched that full game with the Bears-Chargers. The Bears. Bears should have had a touchdown. Did you see that play?
I did not.
So the Bears, he basically had a wide open guy, tripped up on his own feet, had his DB beat by like 10, 15 yards, fell back on his own ass in the end zone against the Chargers. The ball still hit him in the stomach as he was falling down, and he still fucking dropped it. I mean, anyway, all right, we're getting off here, but so this obviously needs to be a must-win. The Ravens at 6-2, first place in the division, can pull ahead with a win at home against Seattle this Sunday. Of course, Seattle getting that win now. They are now in first place in they're in first place in the NFC West after the Niners dropped three straight.
Have they played the Niners yet?
I don't know if they have played them yet or not.
If they're in first,
no,
they haven't, because they wouldn't have.
No, they haven't.
They haven't beat them.
They have not. No, I think they have I think I looked at their schedule. They have like Niners, somebody, and then Niners again. They have the Niners within 3 weeks. So, but definitely, unlike the Browns, though, they have a tough schedule ahead. The Ravens, including games against all 3 division opponents in a 3-game stretch against at Jacksonville, at 49ers, and then the Dolphins at home. So the Ravens are facing some of that hot shit schedule that we faced early on.
Again, man, that's why people are so down on this season already.
Oh, I'm not down on it.
I know, but I see it. I'm like, dude, we're in a good fucking spot.
Yeah.
I do not think Baltimore's going to be 14-3.
Oh no,
There's no way.
There's no way.
They've gotten out of some games that they shouldn't have won. You know, they're always banged up.
Right.
It's a matter of time before Lamar gets hurt.
Well, let's not forget that Gardner Minshew went to MT Stadium and fucking won here a few weeks ago.
Yeah. Well, even though we made him look pretty damn good when we played
We
him.
did, but I mean, that was at Indy too.
Yeah.
But so
Well, and that's going to probably come down to, you know, at least having that tiebreaker over Indy. Because it seems like,
right.
You know, they might be in that playoff hunt, even with Minshew giving no fucks.
So getting back to this Cardinals game that's coming up this Sunday. To me, I've looked at some of the numbers. I don't think you have to overthink what the Browns need to do in this game. Keep the ball on the ground.
Don't turn it over. Don't give them a chance.
Use the 3-headed monster. Sustain drives. Give our defense, give them a break. Get the 7, 8, 9, 10 play drives. Watson needs that for confidence.
Mm-hmm.
You know, whether you want to throw a wrinkle in there, I'm not saying you're running it on first down, second down, and then try to convert on third. I'm not saying that at all. But I think that...
Short passes, screen passes.
I think
Elijah Moore has a big day.
Yeah, I think if Stefanski follows what he did against the Titans, we're going to be fine. Mm-hmm. We're going to be fine in this game.
Well, and, you know, in that Tennessee game, we couldn't run the football.
Right.
I think you're going to be able to run the football against Arizona.
Yes.
I don't see Watson having more than 26 throws, 27 throws. If he's throwing the ball more than that, we're having a bad day on offense.
Going to our, I am going to refer back to the, not Pro Football Focus, but something that's very, very similar to this. I have the Cardinals stats and team rankings here so far this season. On the defensive side of the ball, they give up
Yeah, their
The
secondary is horrible.
they give up the second to the last in first down conversions.
That's where I think Deshaun's going to have a high completion rate.
Right. So on the rushing, they have given up 30. Or no, they have given up the third to the worst. They're ranked 30th in rushing touchdowns. Another reason to get that running game going. In yards, they're ranked number 25 out of 32. And out of attempts, 28. Yards per attempt on the rush, they're ranked 24. Everything here screams just run the ball and pass when you have to convert. Don't get cute.
I still think you can. I think you come out, you get the short game going. That's basically extended running plays. Definitely run the ball heavy. You should probably be a 55-45 run pass split in this game. But they don't I don't think they need to run first, second down, and then try to convert on third. They don't need to do that the whole game, right?
So
Stefanski likes to come out and throw the ball early.
On passing defense, the Cardinals are ranked 25th in the league in overall touchdowns given up on the pass. So they're ranked 30th against the rush, 25th against the pass.
Right.
And let's not forget, their only win came against the Cowboys.
Yeah, that game still blows my mind. That was like
So,
Josh Dobbs' best game of his career.
Right. So average drive. This is not something for us special teams to really hang their hat on here, possibly. So they are ranked last. I don't know who the punter is over there, but they are ranked dead last in starting field position against
no more
other
DPJ
offenses.
Returning punts, brother.
No, we're going to get into that a little bit too. So 30, they're ranked 32 defensively against starting positions on the opposing offense. 32, and they're second to last, 31 on their starting field position.
Oh yeah.
So
they have shit special teams too.
Yes, exactly my point.
Yeah, and one thing I won't worry about too is just the Browns coming out like not wanting. They want this one. I think, when you have a loss like last week, it gives you a little more juice. I think.
Yeah.
Face a little adversity. Not that they haven't already this year, but
not that I wouldn't like to have those two road wins coming home.
But I know that we want to run the ball and all that stuff, but I really think this could be a week that you could have Watson go out there, get in a rhythm, and really be confident going into Baltimore.
So you always have that guy. There's one guy besides, what did you say, the defensive end for the Cardinals? That's pretty decent, you said?
They have a pretty decent pass rush. I think they have like 24, 25 sacks on the year.
Okay.
They have like two people with 4 sacks.
Okay.
I think the one that was a Seattle player. They have 2 people with 4 sacks. They're pretty good rushing the passer. So, but I also think that kind of plays into their schedule as well. They've kind of played.
Going back to your prediction that Elijah Moore might have a big game here, being our number 2. So the one guy I really worry about on their defense, if I'm going to worry about any Arizona Cardinal at all, is Budda Baker.
Mm-hmm.
That guy there, I watched
I
watched a couple years ago him run down DK Metcalf.
Right.
And he looked like a fucking midget trying to run him down the sideline.
Well, DK Metcalf makes everybody look like a
That's
fucking
true.
midget.
That's true. So whatever the side is, whether he's going like a single high or whatever side he's going on, you got to go the other way, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're going to go at him consistently, but I do think there's going to be some shots that the Browns take in this game. They might open up with a play action shot play.
Right. So you're talking about maybe.
But they run a lot of two safeties over the top. We play, I think, the most one safety on the top.
Yeah, so you're talking like Tampa 2 style coverage.
Tampa 2, cover 6, cover 9, whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So getting back to Deshaun Watson. I did a little bit of history on this, Ryan. And I don't think you're gonna.
Nice.
I don't think
I didn't know this.
I don't think you're gonna like this, but So all of our fucking Steelers fanboys that are out there, you may want to stick around for this segment. But so obviously Watson with the what was called the micro tear in his rotator cuff, did coming out earlier this week admitting that he did indeed try to come back too early with the Colts. Don't know if that was his call. We know
it probably is.
Yeah, could be
If
that he wanted to come back.
Franchise quarterback, if he wants to play, he's going to play.
Right.
You know. Baker, same thing in 2021.
So, like I said, 6 weeks out of that Titans game, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to bring up another QB that we know very well that had a similar injury. Ben Roethlisberger back in 2011. It didn't come out until, the article didn't come out until August of 2012, but Ben and staff admitting they had an injury similar to Watson's in his throwing shoulder against Baltimore on November 6th in 2011. Basically, just a game passed halfway through the season. He decided, now this is August of 2012 where he talks about this. But
do we know if it was the same muscle?
We don't know that. It was basically a rotator cuff injury. Not sure about the whole micro tears and everything like that. But he says that he decided to play through the injury, and the Steelers ended up 6-1 down the stretch that year onto a 12-4 overall record. There was a significant drop in touchdown passes. I also got this off the Pro Football Database. I looked this up. After the injury to him that year, he only passed for 6 touchdowns after the admitted injury that following August, with 0 touchdown passes in the last 3 games, including the last game of the season against the Browns. So he had 14 touchdowns before the injury, 6 touchdowns after the injury. Obviously, with this defense, we don't even need a Watson from 2020 with the Texans, though, right? We just need a QB.
We just need average. We need above average play.
We just need the QB to keep the turnovers down.
Yep.
Since Walker's damn near averaging 3 a game, keep us in the game. Let our defense work.
Yeah,
don't tire our defense out.
And you pay him. You pay him for. Because if at the end of the game you're down by 3, you're down by 4, go down the field and score.
Right.
Doesn't have to be miraculous shit every week, but
But I had to bring that shit up for fucking Roethlisberger. I mean, I know we're talking 10, 11, 12 years ago.
I did not know he had that injury.
I didn't either.
And they also had a really good defense at that point.
They did. So, but still, I have a tendency to kind of believe the story about that just because after I broke down and they only had 6 touchdowns after the supposed injury on November 6th of that year.
I wonder how much the pass attempts went up or down after that.
Well, I do know this. So I started looking at some of those touchdown passes in there. His air yards, some of the 6 touchdowns most of them weren't over 10 yards. I think there was 1 over 10 yards after he sustained that injury.
Okay.
So his air yards were definitely down, at least on the touchdown conversions.
Right.
But
well, and we don't know if it was the same muscle. So I watched a video from an actual doctor that was explaining the injury that Deshaun has. It's like the inside, literally what you use to throw a football, fucking muscle. So like everyone's like, oh, he's done whoop. I'm like, dude, if you can't throw the ball, what's the fucking point in him walking out there?
Right.
As we seen in the Colts game. So, but I do think, like I said, those videos that I watched, he definitely looked like Deshaun Watson throwing the ball, not injured.
Biggest question here, though, this is probably on every Browns chat room that you come across. Are we wasting this number 1 ranked defense?
I don't think so. I think in the Pittsburgh game we did.
We did.
And I think, obviously, in the Seattle game we did.
Colts, we almost did.
Well, the Colts game,
although
they didn't play like a number 1 defense.
No, Myles Garrett was an animal.
When they were giving up yards, they were getting turnovers. And that's what good defenses do. And we have top-tier players at a lot of positions on our defense. I don't think they're wasting it. Now, if we don't make the playoffs, yeah, then it's a waste.
Right.
I don't even think we have to go as far as if we don't win the division, it'd be a waste. We got to get in the dance. But, like we were talking about, you need be really great to win that division and have a home playoff game.
Going back to that, and I know we talked about we want to win the division. We always wanted to win the division. Okay. How scared are you? Let's talk about who the Browns, let's say they don't win the division, but they get in the playoffs as a wild card team. And let's just kind of go down the row here. Who doesn't want to play the Browns defense? I mean, let's just
all
go.
Of them.
Yeah.
The only team that, if you have to go to Miami, that's going to be
that's a tough one.
That's the toughest one. But if they have to come to you in Cleveland,
right?
Because they haven't been a very explosive offense on the road,
right?
And it hasn't even got shitty weather out yet,
right? So I agree with you kind of on Miami.
Buffalo doesn't scare me.
Buffalo does not
Kansas
scare
City
me.
does not scare me.
Yeah.
I mean, Pat Mahomes is going to do Mahomes things. That's
right.
for sure. He's going to get his, but doesn't scare me like they did when they had Tyreek Hill.
Jacksonville's not scaring me either.
Yeah, I don't think they scare me, and more so because their defense doesn't scare me at all. I mean, they have Josh Allen at defensive end. He's a pretty good pass rusher, but I think in that type of environment, especially if it would be in Jacksonville, we'll find out. We play them, I think.
Yeah,
that's a home game though. I think.
They come up. Yep.
So,
Baltimore has to play them on the road.
So, yeah, and then anybody in the AFC South other than them, if somehow the Texans want to run or the Indianapolis Colts want to run, none of them scare me. I mean,
who else is in there? I mean, the Jets aren't making the playoffs, right? Even though they've won 4 games now.
I mean, Zach Wilson's playing a little bit better. They have a good defense. They're kind of in the situation that we're in.
Right.
And that's a good division other than New England. And they wouldn't scare me. Their defense, that would be a low-scoring game. That'd be actually, we play them on Thursday night as well. And Aaron Rodgers might be back for that game.
Yeah, they're talking about
that's insane.
It's great that you're bringing this up. So Aaron Rodgers now is talking about possibly, at 38, 39 years old, possibly.
Didn't he turn 40?
I thought it was 39 this year.
He might be
I don't
39.
know. We have to look that up. Yeah. But still, you're talking about an injury that was sustained week 1.
Yeah.
And to even come back. So Christmas might come a little bit early because that's our Christmas day. That's our Christmas game.
Yeah.
Definitely
Christmas
should.
Eve?
Yeah, we should definitely try to go to that game.
39. He'll be 40 this year.
Oh, he'll be 40. Okay. All right. Now.
December 2nd, he'll be 40.
That also might be a bunch of bullshit.
It's going to be tough for him to get back, but if they make the playoffs, I think he'd be there for that.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks good.
Yeah, but shit. Then you have a problem, though. I mean, because if Zach Wilson's playing good enough to get you there, and Aaron Rodgers hasn't been there,
kind of like that Drew Bledsoe, Tom Brady.
Yeah.
But I'm going to trust Aaron Rodgers over Zach Wilson.
I agree. But it's still you're like a fucking season away. You went out week 1.
Right.
And what, the first drive?
Yeah, it was like the 4th play.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough. And somehow,
he didn't complete a pass as a New York Jet. That's amazing. That's how quick that was.
That's amazing.
A lot of quarterback injuries this year. We're not the only ones.
Right. Yeah, well, just, we're going to get into that a little bit with the free agency. So I want to kind of move on to the NFL free agency. Deadline just passed on Halloween this last Tuesday. Always does, 4 o'clock p.m. in the afternoon. I think I was kind of watching some of the McAfee show and watching the shit that was coming down the pike as it was. On a team note, did the Browns make a mistake by not getting a deal done to try to bring Jacoby Brissett back to Cleveland, who has not played a snap for the Redskins?
Mistake? I don't think it was a mistake. They wanted like a 3rd-round pick.
Okay.
I'm not trading a 3rd-round pick for a backup quarterback.
Well, and that's the thing is
we had this discussion before the season started. Deshaun gets hurt, your season's over. Well, guess what? Deshaun got hurt, and our season ain't over.
It's not over.
So
yet. Correct.
I wouldn't give that capital up if it was maybe a 4th or a 5th. I don't think we have a 4th.
Hell, I figured they'd be asking for a 2nd.
I
don't know. Is that what you heard? They were asking for a 3rd?
They were saying day two pick, so that's 2nd, 3rd, 4th round.
Okay, all right.
And I would not have traded that for.
All right.
Because I mean, I don't know. Everybody wants to be all in this year, but like, dude, we have a window. You have this year, next year. A lot of those players on defense will be back. They've done a lot of good things with the cap. They'll probably re-sign Grant Delpit. Everybody's gonna be back next year.
Right.
So
obviously we don't know what calls were made, although you did say that.
Well, they offered a sixth apparently.
Who did?
The Browns.
Oh,
and that I have no issue with that whatsoever.
No, I don't either. It's a pick.
Yeah, it's a 6th round. They have like 3 of them this year, I think.
Right. So, but we do know this: the Redskins on Halloween were definitely in sell mode for picks.
Fucking Chase Young to the goddamn 49ers.
Yeah, we're gonna get into that due to the fact that they traded away Montez Sweat, both their defensive ends, to the Bears, and Chase Young to the 49ers for extra picks. So the Redskins have all their picks in this upcoming draft. Now they're trying to get even more picks.
And they're not paying a quarterback.
We
could have went out and got Chase Young. It would have been a rental. We don't really need him.
I don't think so.
I mean, it would have been awesome, but...
if you would have said to me in the offseason, let's go get Chase Young.
Well, go get him and sign him to a contract.
Right. So, Sweat on the final year of his rookie deal, although the Redskins gave him his 5th-year option last year for $11.5 million to be paid this year. Redskins receiving a 2nd-round pick. What are the Bears thinking? What are the Bears doing? The Bears have to...
They obviously...
They're not sold on Fields, right? Fields is injured right now.
Well, they're going to... To be in the position that they're going to be in, they have, the 2nd and 3rd pick right now? Or 1st and 2nd?
Mm-hmm.
You got to take a swing at a quarterback. Caleb Williams is a good prospect.
He's not my guy.
No, but you can't pass on that. If he's going to come out, but he did say he didn't want to play in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
So, but that can always be worked out. But
you're definitely not talking about Drake May from North Carolina because Mitchell Trubisky.
I was going to say they got Mitchell Trubisky.
They don't want to go down that fucking road again.
Yeah, I don't know.
Chicago's
a fucking dumpster
Michael
fire.
Penix Jr. to the Bears.
Who?
So Michael Penix Jr. plays transfer from Indiana to Washington, who's one of the Heisman frontrunners now. Kind of a Midwest transfer.
I don't see anybody with the number 1 pick trading. And honestly, what they should do this if I was the Chicago Bears. All right, you have these 2 picks. Get Marvin Harrison Jr. And the next best available, whether it's defense or offense. You
need a shithouse load at the Bears.
You need to put something around your quarterback.
Right.
If you had Marvin Harrison Jr., they have the guy from Carolina, right? DJ Moore.
Oh, yeah.
Those 2 on the outside. And with that 2nd pick, if you don't have anything there that you like, that you want to get, maybe there's a left tackle, maybe there's I wouldn't go running back or tight end at that spot. But if there's a good edge rusher that you want or, a high top-tier corner. But if not, trade out of that and get all kinds of assets back.
So the biggest question on the docket is, if you're the Bears, you just added Montez Sweat, okay? Has his 5th-year option. Obviously, they're not in complete sell mode. They're not winning anything this year. They're going to try to get a few pieces. They plan on keeping Montez Sweat and try to get some more build up on that defense.
Yeah,
they didn't. Their Pro Bowl corner they didn't end up trading, which everybody thought he might go. Was it Joe Johnson? I can't remember his name.
You're talking about the Redskins?
No, the Bears.
The Bears?
Yeah,
he's like one of the best corners in the league, right?
Yeah. So maybe they're trying.
I think they're trying to get some pieces on that side because they probably see themselves as not a very likely destination for free agents. So you're gonna have to trade to get some pieces, and they have a lot of draft capital. So giving up a 2nd for Sweat probably is too much. But at the same time, if you like the guy, that's the guy that you want. They have plenty of draft picks to add youth and talent to this defense and offense next year. They could be a team if they do it right. Next year could be right in contention in the NFC North.
Yeah, they could.
Because it's not... The NFC North, there's no... the Vikings are always the Vikings. But other than that, I mean, you have the Lions.
So, well, we're going to get into that a little bit too, but the Vikings are...
And the Lions have a ceiling. But they're a good team.
The Lions are win now. I mean, they're a win now franchise.
Yeah.
You know, we'll get into that free agency move too, but the other big one, Chase Young, former number 2 overall selection in the 2020 draft and Buckeye standout, being traded to the 49ers for
seat at the table.
Yeah, for basically a 3rd round pick for the Redskins. So they give up Sweat, right?
Mm-hmm.
Get a second, give up Chase Young, and they get a 3rd. So now they have their first 2 2s, 2 3s.
How do you
4,
not
5,
get more
6,
than
7.
a 3rd out of him? And well, that's a conditional 3rd, right?
Correct. It is. It's a compensatory pick.
That is so insane to me. But
Well,
he can't stay healthy, so I get it.
I mean, this has to be the definitely it has the potential to be scary if Chase Young can stay healthy.
Nick Bosa and
Yeah. Oh, the stat I heard last week too. Nick Bosa and Chase Young only played 3 games together at Ohio State.
I was gonna say I don't remember them being on the field together.
Yeah, they were.
Well, was he was there after Joey was there, right?
Who? Chase Young, yes.
Because he was after Nick left as well, right?
Well, remember, Nick Bosa had that groin injury and he sat himself down for the rest of the season.
And that was
so basically they would have played together. It would have been 2019.
19, okay. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So he
right.
basically sat himself
Wasn't
down.
that the year we beat Notre Dame or something? Or no, that wasn't the Notre Dame. That was, I can't remember what year that was. What bowl game? Did we get into the playoffs that year?
I can't remember that either. I mean, we get in so much, it's a blur.
Right.
So Chase Young, though, really kind of balling out this year so far on a shitty-ass fucking Redskins team. This season, he has 5 sacks to go on with 6 tackles for a loss.
He's going to look good in that Niners uniform.
And 9 QB hits. So, basically, you're going from Montez and Young to Nick Bosa and Young on an already stacked Niners defense.
Dude, the Niners are going to be fucking
insane. Yeah. Well, pump the brakes, though, because maybe Brock Purdy is starting to have a little bit of a chink in the armor here.
I think we got to him, dude.
Yeah. And my biggest thing, and I tweeted this out too, was the Browns basically laid down the plan to beat the 49ers. They've lost the next 2. One to the Vikings. Kirk Cousins looked phenomenal under the lights, which never ever happens.
Right.
And then against
having his best year as a pro.
And then against Cincinnati last week. Cincinnati definitely on the come up. So the other one, Kirk Cousins goes down with a ruptured Achilles tendon, and Josh Dobbs is traded to the Vikings for no more than a 7th round pick. Vikings are now 4-4 after starting the season 1-4. The Vikings trying to make the playoffs?
Playoffs?
In the NFC? In playoffs? In the NFC, I could see it. I could see it. They're going to get their shit pushed in, whoever they play in the first fucking round.
Probably San Francisco or...
Yeah. What happens if, what if it's Detroit?
Philadelphia. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Can you imagine that?
Yeah. Dude, I'm happy for Detroit, but... And that's... Yeah, I mean, they were turning the corner, and it isn't... their wide receiver coming back off of IR here pretty soon.
Amon-Ra?
No, the Vikings.
Oh, Vikings. Jefferson. Yeah, I haven't looked and seen what his ETA is to come back, but should be.
And I mean, they were.
I mean, not that Jordan Addison hasn't been phenomenal.
No, he's been phenomenal. And I don't know, Josh Dobbs. Yeah, I think they're still going to push for the playoffs at 4-4. How can you not?
How can you not? I mean, you can't let your fan base down.
Then
Skull.
If you lose 2 or 3 in a row after that, then maybe you start thinking,
right?
But
shutting it down.
I'm surprised they didn't go after Jameis Winston or something like that.
There was some inklings of that, like they were going to come to find out.
They can rip it, dude. Especially Jefferson comes back. And...
Come to find out, there is not a lot of crab in Lake Michigan or Lake Superior, so they kind of turned their nose at that a little bit. The other one here, the big one for us, I guess, is Browns deal away Donovan Peoples-Jones to Detroit Lions for a 6th-round pick. A 6th-round pick. So, actually, I think this is a great deal for the Lions. I think they're really lacking that number 2 receiver. Amon-Ra was kind of hurt. He was hurt for a game or two in there.
I think balls out there.
Huh?
I think he balls out.
Oh, yeah, I think he does. Of course, he is from the Detroit area anyway, kind of coming home, played at the University of Michigan. I definitely think he's going to be a solid number 2 for them. Because tight end Sam Laporta, the rookie, he's been eating a lot. So he's going to start getting some more of those targets. Mm-hmm. And because who else they have there? Marvin Jones? That guy's old as fuck.
Well, Jamison Williams is out for the year, right?
Well, Jamison Williams he was the wide receiver that was busted for part of that fucking gambling gate shit. Near and dear to my heart, but
right.
So, my take is this is probably, and we talked about it, probably the plan all along by Andrew Berry after selecting Cedric Tillman out of Tennessee with the first pick in the 3rd round this last draft. DPJ was going to want to get a contract this offseason. Now he's just a rental for the Lions unless they decide to keep him. Right. DPJ going to try to ball out. Absolutely. Good for him.
He's going to make money somewhere. I think that's a perfect spot for him. Because even when Jamison Williams comes back next year, he'd be a great 3 for them. Be good in that rotation. But, yeah, no, I think it's good for him. The one thing that sucked was, the inability to get him the ball because of our shit quarterback play.
And you kind of had Elijah Moore taking over that number 2.
Well, yeah, but if you had, Sean didn't get hurt, seemed like he finally hit his stride in that Tennessee game. Who knows? Maybe he has 30 catches at this point, and then maybe you get a 3rd or a 4th out of him instead of a 6th. But
right.
Yeah, they wanted to get something back because they knew that they're not going to try to. He's going to want probably 12 to 15 mil a year, and they're not going to do that.
No, they're not doing that.
I wouldn't.
And Andrew Berry kind of already knew that. That's why they drafted who they drafted.
Yeah, and I'm excited to see Tillman go out there.
Well, and here's the thing too: are we going to see Tillman this Sunday? Because let's see, Bell is right now questionable to start Sunday. He might be out altogether. I don't know if he practiced today or not. But Tillman probably next in line, right?
One would think.
I would think so.
I would think he would get the roster spot that was vacated from DPJ leaving.
Yep, I would think so. So, moving on, we're going to talk about some the initial college football playoff rankings came out this past week as well. The Ohio State University ranked number 1 in the initial college football playoff. So Georgia at 2, Michigan at 3. We're going to see if that fucking sticks. We'll get into that a little bit later. But
right.
Florida State at 4. Washington with Michael Penix Jr. They're going to have a big game coming up with USC. And Oregon at number 6. Texas at 7. They have a big game against Kansas State this weekend. Alabama at 8. Oklahoma losing to Kansas last weekend. And Ole Miss rounding off the top 10. Penn State hanging out there at 11. Notre Dame at 15. What do you think? Committee get it right for the initial rankings?
I think so.
I absolutely 100% think so.
I mean, you could have won Georgia 1, Ohio State 2, maybe. But I think it's right. I don't, Michigan hasn't played anybody. So
best team they played is Rutgers,
right,
which we play this week.
Right, we'll find out whenever they play Penn State. I think is next week, right?
Yes. Huge game for Michigan if they're allowed to play.
Right. But hey, they did nothing wrong.
Nothing.
I think that's right. Penn State down to 11. Yeah, they actually could be further up. I think they should be ahead of Oklahoma. Texas is up there. I think that's about right. Alabama at 8. They're always going to be hovering around that top 10.
So, Texas, to me, they lost the Red River rivalry game to Oklahoma.
Yeah. Beat Alabama, so at least they're still ahead of them.
Yeah, and I think that's why they're at 7. Oklahoma, with that kind of a bad loss this last weekend, drops them down to 9. Otherwise, they would probably be in the Texas spot. Alabama would actually probably be at 9, I think. But with Ohio State and everybody's squabbling about Ohio State already, I want to remind everybody that at the time, Ohio State is the only team in these top 4, actually the undefeated top 5, that has beat 2 top 10 ranked opponents. Now, they're not top 10 ranked now.
Right.
And I heard
Notre Dame's still 15. So.
Right. They're not top 10 now, and I've had people argue with me about that.
Penn State's only losses to us.
Yeah. Now, the one that doesn't look good for Notre Dame is their loss to Louisville. Mm-hmm. Okay, including us. They have a huge game this week against Clemson. So we're going to find out. Of course, we got to be Notre Dame fans during that.
Did you see I guess Dabo Sweeney freaked out on some caller on a radio show?
I saw that. Poor Dabo. I mean, I just think Ohio State, and this is what the committee is, this is what they've done. They've looked at the resume. Will the resume be that important down the stretch? I don't know. Of course, the biggest game left on our docket this year is at Michigan.
Right.
So we're going to find out a lot. That's if Michigan gets there. There's a whole lot of shit going on. So
I still don't understand how Harbaugh's not been suspended at this point.
Yep, we don't know. So with that being said, we're going to get into this is something we just kind of came up with off the fly here. I want to give a little backstory to this, and I've been following this extremely close. Shout out to J Mac from Barstool Sports. He seems to be on the cutting edge of all this. Whether he and his associates are doing their own investigative journalism. Absolutely love the guy. He was hanging on by a thread at Barstool Sports. The guy is just he's been breaking news on this. I get up every day. I go to bed every day waiting for his TikToks, his tweets, his inside information, because it seems to me like he breaks the information way before the rest of the sporting news outlets does. But without further ado, what we know now fired Connor Stallions was a Michigan staffer who is currently under investigation of sign stealing. He's being investigated by the NCAA. They'll be dragging their ass, and everybody's talking about that, how it's going to go past this season. But I digress, because the Big Ten had a little meeting this last Wednesday night, and it broke late. That it was a conference call between all the ADs in the Big Ten, and coaches. Jim Harbaugh was off the conference call, an hour and a half before the rest of the ADs and coaches got off the call. Basically bitching that something needs to be done from the Big Ten to save the face of the Big Ten with this whole Connor Stallion situation.
Cheating is cheating.
Correct.
Rules are rules, dude.
Right.
You fucked up.
So, Connor Stallions, Michigan staffer. I want to tell you this. Sign stealing is not against the rules. It's not against NCAA rules to monitor a team's sign. But it is against the NCAA rules to monitor a team's signs while playing them or not. While playing them and attempting to decipher them. That's something every program does. You can go and watch game film, and it'd be foolish not to. But that's not what Michigan's accused of doing. If it was just that, then we wouldn't be having this conversation. Jim Harbaugh's program, I should say Harbaugh. I'm going to say Harbaugh because the fact that he's denying anything. It's funny, I watched a clip of him the other day where they're basically asking him about the situation, and they're asking him about Connor Stallions and this whole situation. He starts talking about macaroni and cheese. Just an absolute fucking booger-eating fucking politician is what they have there at the University of Michigan. Jim Harbaugh's program is accused of conducting advanced scouting and filming sidelines in order to steal signals. It's a direct and clear violation of NCAA rules if true. What does that mean? It means that you basically cannot go ahead and scout your opponents live or with video equipment for the teams that you are about to play this season. If you want to go ahead in Michigan and you went ahead and beat Rutgers, and then you decide to send somebody over there to go ahead and videotape them, buy them a ticket to fucking New Jersey and go ahead and scout Rutgers because they are bowl eligible now, you can go ahead and do that. But if it's an upcoming opponent, you're not allowed to fucking do that at all.
Right. Well, and this, one of the biggest reasons why this is a rule is because smaller programs don't have a budget that Michigan does.
Correct.
So they can't do that.
Right.
So this is a rule in place to protect smaller schools from getting fucked by this type of operation.
Right. And I do kind of lean on this side. You know, there's a lot of people out there that are talking about, well, instead of using the gigantic fucking playing cards with SpongeBob and...
Well, why don't they just have mics?
And the helmets.
Yeah.
Right.
That's so stupid, dude.
And I 100% agree with that.
But they don't?
But they don't. So therefore, the rules fucking apply to you.
Right.
And until the NCAA decides that they're going to go ahead and change that and go to mics and the helmets...
Right.
Then this is a fucking rule, and you can't do that.
Well, and they might get fucked, and they should get fucked, and then after that, they might change that rule and put shit in the helmets. Well, hey, again, like you said, it's a rule. You're violating it, obviously, and now you're trying to hide it.
Right. And you and I have talked about this, too. We were actually talking about this earlier tonight before we started the pod. The whole thing with Josh Gordon and smoking weed. Fucking smoke your weed, man. That's fine.
Right.
But it says in your fucking contract... You're not allowed to smoke fucking weed. So if you want to smoke weed, guess what? You're going to get in fucking violation. You're not going to be able to, you're going to get drug tested. You're going to get busted. You're going to end up playing for the XFL Seattle fucking Sea Dragons, which is going to be your last stop.
Right.
So with that being said, I have a bit of a timeline here to kind of bring everybody up to speed as to what has transpired. In 2022, teams find out as late as 2022 that Michigan is running an elaborate cheating scheme. Now, an asterisk on that is, who reported that Michigan was running an elaborate cheating scheme?
Right.
Was it Ohio State? We don't know. It doesn't fucking matter.
Right.
And all you Michigan fucking Dave Portnoy motherfuckers that are out there, you can say whatever the hell you want to, but it's still against the rules. It don't matter who blew the fucking whistle.
Our program got fucked because people were getting tattoos, and selling pants that we won by beating the shit out of Michigan.
Right. Which under the new NIL rules, you can
Doesn't
fucking do.
Yeah.
Now, it was still against the rules, so we got busted.
Right.
We got busted.
Right. But like to downplay it, dude, you broke the fucking rules.
And getting back to Portnoy, though, what's totally hilarious about this was how funny his fucking reaction was to Ohio State trading some fucking gold pants and jerseys for some tattoos in Columbus, Ohio, and all of a sudden, it's against the rules. It's against the rules. But in this case here, he keeps downplaying all the shit.
Yeah, and but actually has this has on-field
implications.
Repercussions.
Yeah.
So, Ohio State had nothing to do with what happened on the field.
Right. Absolutely. So, early 2023, the bowl game, the playoff against TCU. TCU is informed by multiple teams the Wolverines are cheating ahead of the playoff game last year. Horned Frogs respond by turning real signals into dummy signals and creating new ones. Then J.J. McCarthy has 2 pick sixes in that fucking semifinal playoff.
And they gave up like 50-some points.
And then TCU goes and plays Georgia, which we should have fucking been there, and gets fucking boat raced.
Yeah.
Which we kind of all knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
So, September 2nd of 2023, a man resembling Connor Stalions appears on Central Michigan University's sidelines against Michigan State. I wish I had a photo of this, but the guy it was a night game, number one, okay? The fact that he had coach's credentials, let me back this up a little bit. Under NCAA rules, between the 20s, which means offensive 20s to defensive 20s, whichever possession you're on, you're allowed 50 coaches on the sidelines. Jim McElwain, the head coach, who also has ties to the University of Michigan because he was once on their coaching staff, came out earlier this week saying that he has no idea who this fucking guy is that looks like Connor Stallions. But you only got 50 fucking guys who are going to have those credentials.
Right.
And somehow he doesn't know who this guy is. So either you are lying, and Zach Smith came out on his podcast earlier this week, and he said it's a good possibility he may not know who that is. But somebody
fucking
on that Central Michigan staff
yeah.
knows who this fucking guy is.
Whoever's giving out credentials, I would assume you'd have to.
Zach Smith stating that it's very, very high security, and it's hard to get those passes. Yet, the guy that allegedly could be Connor Stallions was on their night game wearing sunglasses. Definitely looks weird. Come to find out that Ray-Ban actually sells sunglasses with a recording device inside the sunglasses. And here we are. Here we are. So, early October, word starts circulating the NCAA is investigating Michigan for stealing signs. What I want to find out is who the hell knew about a month and a half before that supposedly Stallions was on the sideline at Central Michigan. And now you're going through game tape as Central Michigan. You have to have sideline footage there.
Right.
You got a guy in fucking Ray-Bans with a videotaping device inside them.
Right.
Looking like Inspector Gadget over there. Go Gadget glasses. And you have no idea who this fucking guy is? What are we doing? Lying. Central Michigan.
That's one thing when all that shit happened with Ohio State, Jim Tressel went out in front of it, took fucking responsibility for his players.
He did.
Doing that.
He did. So, October 19th, the Big Ten publicly confirms an investigation is underway. Jeremy Harbaugh denies any knowledge. Imagine that. October 20th, one day after, Connor Stallions is suspended with pay. Just today, we found out Connor Stallions was fired just a few hours ago. October 27th, NCAA officials visit Michigan to conduct an investigation operations. Unnamed former Division III coach claims he was paid as part of the scheme. The shit just keeps getting fucking deeper every day. It's so good. October 30th, photos emerge appearing to show Connor Stallions on the Central Michigan University sideline. And November 1st, and I brought this up already, Big Ten coaches urge the conference to punish Michigan for the alleged scheme. So, it's now November 3rd. Besides the Connor Stallions not suspended with pay, but actually fired now, thought this would be the smoking gun. Being on a Friday, that there would be a lot more that would come out. Stay tuned.
Wonder what that NDA had in it.
Oof. So, Connor Stallions, a suspended Michigan football staff member, now fired, whose name has been associated with allegations of the Wolverines sign stealing, purchased tickets in his own name using adjunct websites, whether it be StubHub, Game Time, whatever, paper trails there, for more than 30 college football games at 11 Big Ten schools in the past 3 years, according to ESPN. And one of those games was reportedly Ohio State versus Penn State, which I was just at a couple weekends ago. Just to put this in perspective, one ticket resale value on Ticketmaster for the upcoming OSU Michigan State University game in a couple weeks, center field, not even first deck, is around $740 a piece plus fees. So damn near $2,000 for a seat on each sideline, because they're saying that he had tickets that he purchased but never attended. Who the fuck attended those games? And now they're coming out and saying that now they're looking at footage of the Penn State-Ohio State game, who the people were in those seats, zooming in on those people, trying to see who those people were, whether they were holding their iPhones up their entire game, recording opposite sideline, play card calls. We don't know. To put that, just to put that in perspective, let's say that each one of those tickets were around $500 per ticket. You know, I said $740 plus fees, but let's just say across the Big Ten, and you take that times 30, it'd be $15,000 before fees. So let's say it's $20,000 of fees. And over that 3-year span, he's making $55,000 a year. So about $150,000 over those 3 years. That would be about a fifth of his salary after taxes.
Yeah, no way he's paying for that out of pocket.
No.
Unless he's, getting reimbursed, I'm sure.
That's where the paper trail has to go. And people know. They know what the fuck's going on. It just hasn't come out yet.
Right.
So, according to ESPN, Stallions had tickets on both sides. Yep, the Buckeyes-Nittany Lions game. The tickets were reportedly facing each bench. The coaches meeting earlier this week. Big Ten via conference call this past Wednesday night when Harbaugh hung up an hour and a half before the call ended may be most telling. And here is my smoking gun right here. And I've been saying it now for over a week. To me, one of the biggest tells in Michigan's sudden turnaround against the spread, the number, ATS, pre-2021. Michigan was 25-1 with Harbaugh against the spread, against Big Ten opponents. And since they are 18-5-1, that's actually a typo, 18-5-1, with their only top 5 ranked victories coming over OSU since. So in all of Harbaugh's tenure with Michigan, of course he was already signed to an extension. Michigan touting this week that they're going to go ahead with another extension. Still hasn't came to fruition yet. He has 2 top 5 victories in his whole tenure there since 2015, both against Ohio State back-to-back years. But here's my point. We both know, not that I'm a huge gambling fan and a fucking degenerate. Okay, I am. But Vegas doesn't like to be wrong. Vegas likes to get action on both sides of the number that the bookies set. And they were doing that prior to 2021. It was perfect.
Usually
25, 25, and 1. Since 2021, Michigan is 18-5-1 against the number, against Big Ten opponents. You know what my theory is? Some guy named Big Sal at the Satcher Alley's fucking butcher shop in Las Vegas, Nevada, blew the whistle on the University of Michigan, and they're saying, who the fuck does Michigan think they are? What are they doing? And they sent a fucking mole in there to find out what the hell was going on. And as far as Harbaugh making the NFL or making that jump back to the NFL, which he may very well do that.
Might be the only option he has at this point.
I'm more worried about Jim Harbaugh getting fitted for some cement boots and thrown in the fucking Detroit River. Because you're pissing off fucking Sal from Vegas.
Right.
Because Sal likes to have the fucking spread number down the middle.
Right.
He doesn't like it 18-5-1.
Right.
Because then there starts to be a trend. People start picking up on that. People start betting against the number, and then you're fucked.
Oh, yeah.
So, with that, breaking news, the RawDawgers Sportscast, which you're not going to find this on any other sports outlet. The RawDawgers Sportscast has come across with you folks. We could bring up the first one here.
I didn't know that Michigan's payroll was such advanced to have a time traveling device.
Yes, they do. Doc Brown and his flux capacitor. But if you could see it there, Connor Stallions at the Boston Tea Party, just fucking scoping shit out. The guy, he should have had more. There it is. He should have had more of a pioneer type hat on. Definitely wasn't fitting in like he tried to do at Central Michigan University.
Right.
So we found some other ones here too. What's another one?
So I guess he was in East Germany.
Wow. The Berlin Wall, huh? Coming down?
Oh, shit, did I put the wrong one?
There he is. And Harbaugh's right next to him.
Right there with him.
Just, oh my God.
Checking it out,
You're just tearing, just looking as what's the word I'm looking for? Democracy.
Yes.
Is making its way into Germany.
Yes.
Speaking of Germany, I got to throw this out. It just also came across the news earlier today that apparently Taylor Swift is not going to be traveling to the game in Germany this weekend as the Chiefs take on the Dolphins. Didn't really know that Taylor Swift was Jewish.
But hides her Jewishness as well as Paul Rudd.
She just did not want to make that trip.
We ask the questions.
Okay, where's the next one? We came across some more here. Oh, rip Bobby Knight and the whole chair throwing incident. Connor Stallions was there.
He was there.
He was there, black and white.
And I guess there were some sightings down in Arizona.
Oh.
Or Nevada, I'm sorry.
Oh, Area 51. Look at Stallions over there. He's like, yeah, I knew those fucking UFOs were here. You should have asked me first. Fucking Stallions. Just creeping over that fucking rigid mountain, this wind thrashed mountain.
And he was actually apparently a big part of our birth of a nation.
And here I thought it was Washington that crossed the Delaware.
Well, I guess it was Harbaugh and Stallions.
Of course it was.
And even in some popular 90s movies here.
Ace Ventura?
Was I wonder if if his scout senses see anything hidden in his underwear of hers.
Stallions in the Central Michigan University uniform. He knew Lois was Einhorn before fucking Ace did. Look at him. Poor bastard. He's all pissed off that somebody fucking ruined the movie for him.
Well, and as we were talking about earlier in the podcast, he is scouting the SCLSU.
Yeah, SCLSU Mud Dogs. Yeah, that's all right.
And was definitely there to make sure that their top linebacker was
looking in the window as Bobby Boucher's trying to take his college entrance exam. Oh, so good.
And even on working at ESPN here.
Yep.
On the bad beats.
Oh, and I wonder why there's bad beats. Maybe because fucking Connor Stallions is shifting the fucking against the spread numbers. Motherfucker. I'm going to send him a bill for my fucking DraftKings account.
You'll beat the shit out
You owe me bonus bets, bitch.
Well, yeah, there's...
Is that all we have for this week?
That's all we have for this week.
Oh,
but,
well.
that should be a good rolling segment.
It's going to be until this thing just comes to a head. And nobody really knows exactly what's happened. Like I said before, the NCAA is probably going to take way, way too long. You know, could leak clear into 2024 before they come up with a ruling. In the meantime, Michigan on just a path here. Of course, they play PSU here in a couple weeks. They're going to play Purdue tomorrow.
No way they get to play in a bowl game this year.
I wouldn't think so.
But they're letting it ride.
They're letting it ride, and that's where I think that huge conference call a couple days ago, the other ADs around the Big Ten
are pissed.
They're like, you're defaming the Big Ten's name here by letting this fucking go on. So there's two bodies that have the ability to go ahead and jump out in front of the NCAA and their investigation. One is the Big Ten, and the other one's the College Football Playoff Committee.
Really?
Yeah. And can you imagine, let's say that we do lose to Michigan again.
They kick them out anyway?
What would the college football... Let's say they make the Final Four and they fucking lose again because they don't have the fucking signals like they did the last 2 years against TCU and Georgia.
Right.
How is that going to look with the national media? Where's the fucking pressure there?
Right.
Huge pressure.
Huge. Yeah, if I was the playoff committee, I mean, if I was playoff committee, I wouldn't let them in this year.
Yeah.
Regardless of what comes out beforehand. I mean, we still have the final rankings in December, early December.
The College Football Playoff Committee was set up as an independent body outside the NCAA.
Right.
But still, if the Big Ten, I mean, what's his name?
I don't see how
Tony Fieri, Guy Fieri's brother or some shit.
Well, didn't the Big Ten
commissioner?
Well, yeah, didn't when Ohio State was going through that shit, didn't the Big Ten get ahead of it actually before NCAA and
I can't remember
asked Tressel to resign? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Well, just like you said though, Jim Tressel basically said, "Hey, it was all me."
Yeah, even though it was probably none of his. Maybe he knew about it, but like, wasn't his fucking fault.
I'm not saying that Tressel didn't know.
I wouldn't have said a goddamn word in it either.
No.
You know, back then, a bunch of fucking kids and you know they were getting money from people and all this.
Right,
that.
But still,
it
was against the rules.
Yeah.
It was against the rules.
Fucked us for a couple years, but we got Urban Meyer out of it.
There was also a time where you weren't allowed to use anything but a fucking leather helmet.
Right.
But that was the rules then. So, thank God for innovations.
Right.
Anyway, Ryan, anything else you want to bring up here?
Just thanks for watching, guys. If you want to roll over to our YouTube channel, if you're not watching there, to please hit like and subscribe. We really appreciate it. And, follow us on Facebook. We have an Instagram. Don't really do much on there, but
TikTok. We definitely do a lot.
We have TikTok and Twitter. Just follow us there. And we'll be back next week.
Right. Okay.
RawDawgers out.
RawDawgers out.